Everyone, Arsenal are going into Christmas top of the table. This last 14 games has been absolute joy, and there will be a special tactical insight breaking down these 14 games, looking at Arsenal's patterns generally, records with certain players, certain starting 11s, looking at how we've performed against the Big Six, how we've improved. But today is all about Wolves and just enjoying what a massive, massive win that is. And it won't just be me this time. We've got Graham back in the building. I feel I want to clap, but this thing is so massive. There we go. Welcome back, Graham. We missed you last week.
Thank you, mate. In the words of Troops, back again.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And let me just say that I thought last week, flying solo. I see someone put that in the comments, James flying solo. I thought you flew solo really well last week.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Fantastic show. And I thought, you literally sort of broke the game down really well. Yeah, I said a few weeks ago to you that if you play a round of golf, never ask your caddy for a small club.
Yes, I remember this one.
Because they will always give you the Tottenham.
Yeah.
I've got another one for you.
Okay, what have we got now? They won on the weekend,
Yeah, I know. Well, a mate of mine is sort of like moving house, and I've been helping him with the house move over the last few weeks, right? And normally when you move house, you get a letter from your solicitor saying that all fixtures and fittings have to be removed by 3 o'clock or a time that you've got to vacate the house, yeah? And he received a very strange letter last week saying, could you please leave all fixtures and fittings in the house apart from one item. What do you think that item was?
I'm not sure.
A trophy cabinet in the games room.
Why?
Well, the motto of the story is he's obviously selling his house to a Tottenham fan.
Oh my God. Okay, there we go. You know what? You all asked for this. I saw you in the comment section all saying, where's the Spurs joke? Where's Graham? Where you got it? There you go.
Anyway, more seriously, James, on to the game.
They did just lose to Forest, by the way, so that is another potential. Anyway.
Look, I thought Mikel Arteta said after Saturday that we literally had to beat a team who played the game the way they proposed to play it, is the term he used. We had to overcome that challenge of a team sitting with 5 behind the ball, literally looking to play counter-attack. And I thought for the first half, we struggled to come to terms with that. Obviously, the loss of Xhaka, having to adapt to the loss of Xhaka was key. I thought Odegaard first half sat deeper than what he normally does as a result of Xhaka going off. And we're going to talk about the positional adjustment of Martin Odegaard today, which I thought played a key part in our victory. But I thought the team ultimately come to terms with it in the second half with that tactical shift that Arteta made at half-time in the position of Odegaard and the way we started moving the ball quicker, second half, moving them around a bit, which I think you're going to break down in the first goal. And in the end, we unlocked their defence twice with, I thought, 2 Man City-type goals, cutback goals almost, yeah. So in the end, we got the job done, and this is Arsenal's best ever start, James, in their 136-year history. Played 14, won 12, yeah. So in the end, we got the job done, James.
Incredible start, highlighted by some of the match stats you sent through. We had 63% of the possession to Wolves' 37%, 14 shots to their 11, 3 on target to their 2, 14 to their 11, by the way, a bit tighter than I expected it to be. I don't think a lot of what they did actually is kind of illustrated in the XG I mentioned in a little bit here. I mean, okay, 12 open play shots to their 7. We obviously had nearly double the passes. If not double the passes, we're not going to do that quick maths now. But the XG, 2.18 to 0.49. I did feel actually for the efforts they had, and yes, they had 11, only 3 shots less than us, it wasn't like they had a load of really good chances or any that I can really remember. I think Rams had a few times scrambled to deal with a few things, but generally we were pretty comfortable. In terms of attacking zones, again, this highlights actually that we were more comfortable, 87 final third entries to their 48, 30 deep touches to their 23, 12 zone 14 touches to their 10. Okay, quite a few, not a lot in it there. And a field tilt of 61% in favour of Arsenal. And in the defensive areas, they made more tackles, same amount of interceptions. We blocked more passes, maybe illustrative of how Arsenal were sort of pressing and chasing. 23 clearances to our 10, and a better passes per defensive action for Arsenal as well. Again, maybe highlighting that desire to go win the ball high up the pitch. It was a good performance. It was actually, that word, that term mature performance gets thrown around. And I think when people talk about mature performances, what they mean is you didn't pepper their goal. You didn't have like 5 or 6 gilt-edged chances that you should have put away. But at the same time, he never looked overly troubled. And yeah, they had a few moments on the counter. And I think as nervous Arsenal fans wanting to capitalise on that Brentford win, we were feeling a bit, iffy during the game. But actually, when you reflect on it, Arsenal were pretty comfortable throughout. And we've now reached a new level of performance where if we'd played that way last season, we were saying that was amazing. We were in total control for most of the game. Now we're comparing it to how good we were at the Bridge, how good we were against Liverpool, and realising that Arsenal can be that good and it still doesn't rank in their best performances of the season.
Yeah, it was a different type of challenge with them. And I think we're going to get a lot of this now. And when you're top of the league and you're playing a team down at the bottom of the league or you're playing lesser teams, you're going to be faced with this sort of challenge. Teams are going to sit deep.
Yeah.
And I think the thing that impressed me is the way they overcome the loss of Xhaka. There was apparently reports of a bit of ill health in the camp. A lot of people were having stomach issues. Xhaka went off. He's key to the way this team plays up high. And Vieira had to come on and take that position. And a bit like we did against Nottingham Forest when Saka went off and Nelson came on, we found a way to overcome those losses of those two key players. Nelson replacing Saka against Forest, and Vieira coming on to replace Xhaka. And Vieira, of course, who ultimately played in the assist for the goal. So, in the end, it was. But one thing I will say, James, I think we're going to have to get used now because Arsenal are top of the league. It's the respect now I think we're going to be given by some teams. They are going to sit deep now, and we're going to have to find different ways to play against different teams. But particularly against teams who sit deep in a low block with 5 defenders, we're going to have to sort of play really well, I think, to unlock these sort of teams. It was a different challenge, but we got there in the end.
Yeah, and you're right about that. In fact, let's talk about how Wolves did set up, how they looked on the tactical pad right now. All right, guys, we're back up here by my favourite thing in the building. Well, apart from you, Graham, of course, but it's the tactical pad, and we've got Arsenal and Wolves in kind of the shapes they were in for most of the game because Arsenal had a lot of the ball. We touched on it earlier, the 61% possession, I can't remember, 63 maybe. And Arsenal, again, kind of going, or at least starting off with what was working quite well at Chelsea with the 3-2-5 and Zinchenko tucking in with Partey.
Yeah, I think we started off in a 3-2-5. But if you look at the way Wolves are set up, James, this is the problem Arsenal had on Saturday. They literally had 5 players right across the back, 3 centre halves and the 2 wing backs. Obviously, in that shape, they want their 2 wing backs to literally get high to provide the width. But those wing backs were back defending the whole game simply because of the width of Saka on the right hand side and Martin on the left, which forced them back into a 5. Gabriel Jesus was around here. He would sometimes drop into here, and Neves was picking him up if he did that. As I said.
There you go.
Yeah, let's get rid of that. So if you look at this, was I thought Wolves' shape. It was like a 2 up front, then a 3 in midfield to stop Arsenal from playing through them with the 5 defenders. Right. I think what Arsenal had problems with the first half was actually sort of playing through Wolves, and I think one of the problems Arsenal had was because Martin Odegaard was playing out wide here. Yeah.
A bit wider here.
Yeah. And I think when Partey was getting the ball, obviously Guedes and Traore were the 2 trying to stop the build-up from Partey and Zinchenko. Zinchenko inverted Partey. The ball would go often. The outlet for Arsenal most of that first half was the right-hand side. And Ben White would come forward with the ball and play in Odegaard. Now, Odegaard was, I thought, drifting closer to the touchline most of the first half. And that meant Moutinho was very close to him. So you had Bueno, who did a really good job on Saka.
So you're saying something like this. So, but by the way, you're right, Bueno played very well. Yeah. But sort of Moutinho coming out with him and everything shifting across the Wolves.
Yeah, of course, yeah. And I think the problem we had with Odegaard out there, where we want him is in here, making that run into there.
Yeah, combinations.
He wasn't doing that in the first half. He was out there. I think one of the reasons was because with Granit Xhaka going off, Vieira coming on, Arsenal having to adapt to that change. I think he wanted to play slightly deeper and also to be out wider. Yeah. And I thought there was a definite, the way we were playing until we moved to the 2-3-5 with White moving into midfield there. Odegaard was playing out here. Now, second half, there was a definite tweak by Arteta at half-time because Odegaard moved into here, was making runs into here, like he did against Nottingham Forest. So he's gone from playing out wide with Saka, making those underlapping runs. And then what ultimately happened, we got his brace of goals, which you're going to break down in the goal from Martinelli, is that it's him making those runs in, underlapping on the right from central inside, to getting on the end of a cross, a cutback, that in the end proves decisive. I think it was that tactical tweak. Odegaard first half was less effective out wide, more effective second half when he came more central, making runs into the box, and that's how he got his 2 goals. I think Arsenal weren't moving the ball quick enough first half, but I think they sort of like moved it quicker second half, worked on being braver with the ball up high and getting overloads out wide, as you're going to show in the goal, when Martinelli makes that run across the pitch and Jesus comes out here, and then Vieira's going to make that run. But I'm taking your job for you there.
No, not at all.
That down. But that ultimately, with again, a bit like Nottingham Forest, you'll notice our 2 number 8s are underlapping, getting in the box, and we are then creating players making runs into the box as well. Saka coming in as well. So we're getting players up high. We're getting sort of like 5, and Ben White coming up to support the attack. But I thought the decisive factor was the positional adjustment from Martin Odegaard second half, and I think that's what I wanted to say as my part in the tactical analysis today. First half, I thought he was more deeper, obviously to help the team with Xhaka going off, and then he was out wider with Saka, and it wasn't quite working. Second half, I think he came more central and got in on the end where we want him to be.
I think you're spot on about Odegaard maybe feeling, whether it was instruction or just awareness, he wanted to be a bit closer to Partey, because we see Vieira as a natural 10, and sometimes when we press, we just bring everyone back. We might press with, say, Odegaard and Jesus either side. There we go, it's not working properly, but there we go. And Xhaka would maybe tuck in next to Partey or something. But it did feel, you're right, that maybe he was just a little bit wary of overdoing it on that side, because he didn't have Xhaka covering as much, even though we know Xhaka's been getting forward more. So I don't know, it was interesting to see how Arsenal dealt with it and changed. But you're right, I mean, the big change, I think, in that second half, and we see it in the goal, is actually, as well as everything we did tactically, it's just the speed at which we were moving the ball. It's just the fact that, Jesus, we know kind of at any point in the game he wants to pull out wide and get on the ball and get into different areas. Let's just watch it through once, because you're right, it actually starts with a throw, I think, and then Martinelli comes inside, makes his way all around, and goes to Jesus. And then from this point, Jesus is running inside, slips it into Vieira with a lover on his touch. Everyone thinks maybe he'd gone at that point, but he puts it on a plate, and there's 2 of them who could put it in the back of the net in the end. But I want to talk about this ball and this run here that Vieira makes. Again, in football, you watch enough football matches, you watch enough Arsenal, you're going to see repeat patterns, whether it be goals from set pieces, whether it be goals from crosses, whatever it might be. Now, it could just be that they've never worked on underlapping, and that actually it's just a bit of good play, and footballers can be creative, they can be inventive, and they made something happen. But I don't think this is that. I think this is something we've talked about in previous Tactical Insight shows, that there's absolutely worked on at Arsenal. We've seen it with the goal against Aston Villa that Jesus scored to open the scoring. Again, it's Granit Xhaka underlapping. We saw with the goal against Sevilla, and there's other examples as well of those underlaps that, when you've got players like Saka, Jesus, Martinelli, who really, really hug the touchline, I keep drawing on that by accident, so I don't know, hopefully that doesn't ruin the video. When they're really wide, it means that there's more space centrally. And so you've got to be able to take advantage of that. And that is what Vieira does in this situation absolutely brilliantly. And it's not just an Arsenal thing. People must be so bored of us on this show relating back to Manchester City and scoring Manchester City-esque goals and doing things that, basically just saying, Arteta's copying the Man City play. But no, we're not saying that. But there's clearly things that have influenced him in the way he likes to see his team scoring goals, whether it's something he brought to City or something that he's taken from City. But David Silva and De Bruyne would always make those underlapping runs. Vieira has done there what David Silva did so many times, and has put it on a plate and has opened the scoring. It's all on purpose.
It's a Man City goal, isn't it? A cutback goal, where we've sort of had the underlapping run. We created the overload out wide, and at the start of that move, if you just take it back, James, Martinelli actually makes the run across the pitch, right, from left to right. What that does is it shifts their Wolves defence over to the left-hand side. So they've all gone over to the left-hand side, and then he then stopped, and the intention is always to switch it back to our left-hand side, going up high. He's over here now. Jesus, as you said, has cleverly come out to take the space where he's left. And then the underlapping run will be from Vieira if you just play it on. But what I want you to note here as we go through this, as he plays in Vieira, and then stop it there, just look at what we do at the back stick. We literally, as he cuts it back, we got players making runs in. And if Odegaard wasn't going to score that goal, Saka was.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. It's the switch, the way we move their defence from left to right, switch it back, get the overload. Jesus is integral to the whole thing. And then we flood the back post with players for the cutback.
Yeah.
And that is worked on in training. That's what they've done. It is a Man City goal, as you quite rightly said, to unlock a team.
Well, 2017 to 2019 Man City. Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe. But yeah, I think it was a fantastic move. And we had 5 players in the box for the first goal, and we had 6 players in the box for the second goal. And that, in the end, proved decisive to unlocking Wolves.
Completely agree. Odegaard was the scorer, so it's only right that we go through his numbers and a few other players as well. So let's have a little look. Now, where better place to start after talking about Martin Odegaard's goal there with his numbers: an 84% pass accuracy, 100% of his dribbles completed, 17 out of 22 final third passes, 2 out of 2 long balls completed, 7 ball recoveries. We know the work ethic's always there. And actually, I felt even before his goals, he was really chasing, doing everything he could to kind of win that ball back quickly for Arsenal. And of course, he got the 2 goals. We touched on the one up there on Tactical Pad. But he really stepped up. And with Xhaka missing, we needed someone to have that control and seniority, I suppose, in the final third, and Odegaard showed it.
Yeah, and his 2 goals now mean that he's now the top scorer at the club this season. 6 goals.
No, is that right?
Yeah,
of
absolutely.
course, yeah.
6 goals now, Martin Odegaard, a brace in this game. I think in games like this is where Odegaard, you talked last week, or the last show I did with you, about you want him to run games, but in games like this is the fact that he's got the ability, the technical level in intricate, tight space to sort of like create openings is where I think his ability shines through. And I thought second half, he ran it second half. Not only his goals, I thought that the way he drifted more centrally, got on the ball more. Moutinho was obviously the issue first half, because I think when Odegaard was drifting out wide, as we talked there on the tactical pad, Moutinho was following him out. And Odegaard was out wide, not really getting forward into those underlapping number 8 runs that he made in the Forest game, for example, when he scored his last goal. But he did it second half because he was able to sort of like, with the tactical adjustment by Arteta at half-time, start making these runs, controlling the play from deep, and then making runs centrally, underlapping, and that led to him getting into 2 positions where he took advantage and scored his 2 goals. I think that in this sort of game, the fact he's got that technical level in tight, intricate spaces, he's the difference maker. Yeah,
I completely agree. Another player I thought was absolutely immense, and I talked about him obviously because of his goal against Chelsea and how brilliant he was, but another imperious performance at the back where he actually had to cover for his teammate Saliba quite a few times. Gabriel Magalhaes, again, 75 touches, pass accuracy. I spelled accuracy wrong. Whoever spots that, fair play, although I've just pointed it out. Pass accuracy of 91%. 2 out of his 3 ground duels won, 5 out of 7 accurate long pass as well. His long passing distribution is improving massively, and I thought we saw that in the Chelsea game as well. Wasn't dribble past at all in that game. Of course, 2 interceptions to go with it. I thought he was brilliant, and the stress we put, don't underestimate, guys, the stress we put on Saliba and Gabriel, because we want to get up the pitch, we want to attack, and they got to deal with the counters, which means constantly being switched on, not only in terms of how they can help maintain the flow of the attack, but also how they can press to win the ball high up, how they can deal with a ball in behind. It's a really, you've got to be super concentrated, and I think Gabriel and Saliba have been brilliant, and Gabriel in particular against Wolves.
Yeah, I think that in this game when we went 2-3-5, there's literally just Gabriel and Saliba to take care of Traore and Guedes. And Traore's got plenty of speed, as we know, and so you have got to be switched on. And I thought that not only did he bail out his mate in this game with an absolutely vital block when he got the block that sent that shot, which I think was goal bound, round the post for a corner. I thought generally with interceptions, blocks, tackles, he was immense. And also, we've criticised him in the past for making the odd error. This game he was very, very concentrated. And I thought this was a really strong defensive performance, a physically strong defensive performance. And as I said, he was switched on through the game.
I think he enjoys these kind of games. I remember
He's got a great record at Wolves.
Yes, he does.
He scored the winner there last year. Didn't he?
Yes, he did. And I just remember, I know the fans went in, but winning at Old Trafford 1-0, he was immense in that game. A couple of times at Stamford Bridge, evening kickoffs. He seems to enjoy these late ones as well. So, Gabriel absolutely enjoys, not backs against the wall because we were in control for most of this game, but he does enjoy that sort of doing the the tough defending, doing the just kind of fronting up the defending away from home and tackling it face on. He does enjoy that, so fair play to him. Another player, we're going to talk about Gabriel Jesus, because I think he was one of the players. I think he looked the most electric of the front three. Saka looked really off it, if I'm being really honest. Bukayo, we love you. Have the best World Cup. Don't focus on Arsenal. Go enjoy it. But he wasn't good against Wolves, I don't think. Martinelli, on the other hand, I thought got into it second half. Jesus looked the hungriest throughout that match. He was really good.
I thought he was actually superb in the game, and obviously instrumental in eventually the first goal, in the way that when Martinelli, as we've talked about, drifted inside from left to right, he automatically comes out onto that left-hand side, and he played a really deft little pass in for Vieira. I thought he looked really sharp. He was unlucky in the first half, hit the crossbar with a shot. Also, he had a goal ruled out for offside. I just think he was a constant menace for the Wolves defence. His movement, he was dropping into midfield. Neves was, I think, particularly targeted with watching him move in there when they played this sort of, we're going to talk about this sort of like a pentagonal sort of shape, where there are two forwards and three midfielders, with the two of the midfielders on Xhaka or Vieira and Odegaard. And I think Neves was looking for Jesus, but Jesus was still finding space, and I think he's key to everything that we do well going forward. And I thought it was a really electric performance by him. It just needs a goal, doesn't it, to sort of like to get these doubters off his back that he's not scoring goals, but he's assisting and he's scoring, and a key passer on Saturday night.
You mentioned you sent these stats through, and I think they're so fascinating. I want to give you credit for this. His 5 assists in the league is the third best tally. He ranks 6th for open play chances created with 22. He ranks 3rd with 27 successful dribbles in the league. This is in the league, not just Arsenal, in the league. He ranks 5th for 38 fouls won, and he ranks 1st for 141 touches in the opposition box. He's busy, he's alive, he's involved, and yes, he's not getting the goals. And yeah, I'll be honest, he should be doing a little bit better with his chances. I'm not going to deny that. When he does hopefully find that, like the way he started the season, he looked a lot more clinical. When he does, find that rhythm again, then he's on course for Player of the Season. I mean, the way he's playing, he's been electric, I think. And then what a difference he's made for us.
Well, I think also what you don't see there is the pressing, the work rate that he offers the team, the pressing off the ball, the movement, the way he drags defenders out of spaces to create space for other players. I think he's just transformed our attack this year. And to be honest with you, he's not scoring goals at the moment, but his value to the team can't be understated. The fact that he's high in those numbers in the Premier League tell you everything about the way he's playing for us. And all right, Haaland is scoring goals for fun to see, but he didn't score on Saturday, did he? But I think Jesus is absolute quality player and offering us a different dimension now than what we didn't have last year.
This is another away win, Graham, and this brought a massive smile to my face. What you're going to see here, Graham sent it through to me. It's the away league table. I believe the best 5 teams in the league. Arsenal, well ahead. 7-point gap in the top of this table, not just the 5 in the league table. Of course, that's the one we care about. But 7 points more than Newcastle in terms of points won away from home, with 19 to Newcastle's 12. Okay, they only played 7 games. Man City have played 6 away from home. They have 11 points with 3 wins, 2 draws and a defeat. Spurs on 11, having played 7. Brighton on 10. So we've played more away games than all the other teams as well that are picking up a lot of away points. Spurs have only played 7. City have played 6. We've only played the 6 home games in the league. We've got this 5-point gap. We've played 4 of the big 6 and won 3 of those games. 2 of them were away from home at Old Trafford and Stamford Bridge. We've not had it that easy. Trips to Brentford, trips to Leeds, trips to Southampton. I know every away game's tough. Wolves, but Crystal Palace. We've had to overcome, a lot of away games, some tricky places to go, and yet still have this gap. I mean, I've got to give massive credit to the team for the way they've dealt with all that.
We've won 6 of our 8 away games. That's the same number of away games that we won in the whole of 2021-22 season. Did you know that?
Is that right?
Yeah.
We only won 6 last season away from home.
Yeah.
Oh, it felt like more. Oh, that's really heartbreaking.
But I think the thing is, what I like about the team this year is the way we're set up, the fact that we defend so well, the shape that we've now got, out of possession, close spaces. We've got 2 defenders good on recoveries, Saliba and Gabriel.
Yeah.
And I think it's showing in those numbers. The fact that, of those 8 away games, I think we kept 6 clean sheets.
Yeah.
So it's about the whole team defending from the front. The way we press 4-4-2 out of possession, or if we press man to man, every player is working hard defensively off the ball. And for years, Arsenal suffered from being known as a team that didn't work hard enough off the ball. There was massive spaces between the front and the back. What Arteta's done, the system he's implemented, he's closed those spaces. He's got players working hard off the ball. They all know their roles. If a player comes out of a space, another player drops into a space. That's not just going forward, it's defensively. And I think to have those sort of away record, it just shows you what you need to do. That's the reason why we're top of the league at the moment, is our away form. Our away form has been absolutely top notch and the best in the league, and that's reflecting the fact we're top of the league. That is an outstanding away record, James. Yeah,
it really is outstanding. Let's hope it continues. We've got 6-7 weeks to sit and enjoy our place in the Premier League table. But Arsenal, listen, they've done so well in this start, and actually they've played so well that yes, we get to enjoy the World Cup and all that, but I'm sure we want to see a little bit more. Let me get your final thoughts on a couple of things before we do the closing stats. The Saliba incident, was it a penalty for you?
I thought it was a penalty.
Yeah. So do you think he was onside, and then?
I wasn't sure if he was onside. And I just thought, I'm looking at it from when the ball comes in, he doesn't get the ball and he takes the player's legs. So for me, that's a penalty. Look, if he's offside in the build-up, then obviously it shouldn't be a pen, should it? But look, you're asking me. I listened to the half-time analysis from Sky, very biased against Arsenal, I have to say, as usual. But they were sort of like saying that once he didn't flag for the offside, the play went on. Once it goes in the box, it's a pen. So, and I looked at it, and he did take his leg. So, for me, it was a pen.
Yeah, I think the contact is a penalty. Whether he's offside or not, I'm not sure. And sometimes I've looked at these angles, like the Almiron run, that sets up the Willett goal the other against Chelsea. I looked at that and thought, yeah, Almiron looks offside here, and he wasn't. So sometimes I don't even know. But
did you think he was offside?
I honestly have no idea. He looked more on than off, if I'm honest. So we might have got away with one there. But
might have got away with one.
We did play well, and we got a couple of goals. I don't think anyone can say that Arsenal didn't deserve the win. Right, the final closing stats. Not of 2022, actually, because we are back with West Ham, but certainly before the World Cup. So let's hear your thoughts.
Thank you, James. Arsenal have now won 4 of the last 9 Premier League games against Wolves. That's won 4, drew 2, lost 3. And the Gunners have also scored in each of their last 18 games against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Arsenal end this round of matches 5 points clear of Manchester City, the biggest lead the Gunners have had at the top of the Premier League table since the 13th of December 2013.
Wow.
Arsenal have 6 clean sheets away from home in the Premier League this season, the same number as they managed in the whole of 2021-22, as I said. Martin Odegaard has now scored 6 Premier League goals in 13 appearances this season. He'd only scored 8 in his previous 50 Premier League appearances.
Wow.
Ben White has now made 27 tackles, the most of an English defender in the league this season.
And we didn't Southgate won't start.
We didn't give credit to Ben White today, but he was most in all those numbers, wasn't he?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, he did rank first for all those things.
But yeah, he's now made most tackles of any English defender in the Premier League this season with 27. Fabio Vieira is the 3rd substitute to be subbed off after scoring or assisting a goal in a Premier League match for Arsenal after Cesc Fabregas v Aston Villa in December 2009 and Nicholas Bentner v Cardiff in January 2014. And finally, James, this is Arsenal's best record after 14 games in the club's history. 1-12, drew 1, lost 1, top of the league.
There we go, guys. What a start Arsenal have made. And by the way, I believe that's the 5th best start ever in a Premier League season after 14 games played. So massive credit to Arsenal. We get to sit on it a little bit, guys. We get to enjoy it. We get to look back. We're going to be doing that on the Tactical Insight Show. So let us know your thoughts in the comment section. In terms of what you'd like us to talk about in this kind of looking back at the first 14 games, what kind of tactical content you'd like to see over the World Cup break. We're going to be doing some bits on individual players, breakdowns on basically focus on certain players and see why and how they've made such a massive difference. But of course, we'll be talking about the team generally. So again, get in the comment section, let us know your thoughts, and of course your thoughts on this game, this show, everything. We appreciate the feedback. And you know, we're really enjoying it. This has been a pleasure. Only twice have we had to talk about drop points. We've been here 12 times and it's been an absolute pleasure, Arsenal. So well done for an amazing start. Do hit the like button if you enjoyed. Go check out the merch in the comment, not in the comment section. It's not in the, why would the merch be commenting? It will be in the description though, guys. Go check out the link. You can get your Saliba tops. Go support your players. Yeah, you'll find all the details there. It's been a pleasure. We'll see you on the next one very, very soon. Graham, big thanks for everything. I
was just going to say, wish everybody a happy Christmas.
Yeah.
We'll
see you before Christmas.
We'll see you before Christmas.
Yeah, we'll do something before Christmas, for sure. If not, Merry Christmas. See you in a bit, guys.
Shop for AFTV merch at shop.aftv.co.uk. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat, and Twitch. We've got content for every platform, so check it out.